Hi everybody, I'm Robin Jones, the grandmother and the legal guardian of Isabella Skye Acosta Wise, also known as Bella. She's been known as Bella from birth, and until she was about a year and a half old, she was baby Bella. I'm going to check here before we get started and see how many people are joining us because I want everybody to be able to watch this Facebook Live, first one I've ever done. Excuse me, I'm very short, I'm 5'2". We tried to get my feet out of the camera view, but apparently you can see what a midget I am. We were not able to fix that. I'm just going to check here real quick and see. Facebook Live, first one I've ever done. Excuse me, I'm very short, I'm 5'2". Am I still on? Okay. Y'all, please excuse technical difficulties because this is the first time that I've ever done this and the first time that my husband Cat Daddy's ever done this. So I hope there's a lot of people here watching. I was not able to see it on there. Instead, it started playing the video for me from the start. I was hoping to see who all's here and see your comments and likes, but apparently I'm not able to, so I will watch that later. Isabella was born on October 18th, 2015, and whenever I held her, I thought, my goodness, you look just like my hospital pictures when I was born. Out of my kids, none of them looked a lot like me, more like their dad, or a mixture of both of us. But somehow my daughter, Kiana, gave birth to my mini-me, and I was immediately in love. I kept Bella a lot when she was an infant. My daughter was working 2 full-time jobs and going to college at Platt College because Isabella's father, Jesus Manuel Acosta Sanchez, also known as Manuel, also known as Manny, which I usually refer to him as Manny or Manuel. It was hard to get him to work like he was supposed to. By the time Isabella was born, he was here illegally in the United States. I did not know that at the time. I did know that he had caught a drug case in Oklahoma for possession of a meth pipe. And that was right around the time that Isabella was conceived. And my daughter and him were living together. I had found out he had gotten arrested and that she bailed him out, got his car out of the impound, and helped him get an attorney. So when he was convicted, he lost his ability to be in the United States legally, and he was considered an illegal Mexican immigrant. So at times maybe it was hard for him to find a job under the table, but I know that there's a lot of illegal immigrants here in Oklahoma that work a lot. It just seems like Manny was lazy and didn't want to. He wanted my daughter to support him. When Bella was just over a year old, Manny and I got into it, and I was told by one of my son's very good friends that, who's also Kiana, my daughter, Bella's mom, Kiana Rain Wise, her twin brother, Tristan. It was a friend of his who was also a friend of Manny and his brother Luis. And he came and told me that when Kiana was at work at night at Walmart, that he was over at their apartment and that Manny was smoking a meth pipe, standing actually in the bathroom, but the smoke from it was going right there, right where Bella was sitting, right outside the bathroom in the living room. And I was furious, and it went downhill from there. I, at that point, started to try to get him deported, and he took the girls away from me. And I had to sneak to see my daughter and Bella from November to May of 2017. we made up at that time because I had an agenda. I had a gut feeling that he had abused my daughter, which she denies, and that he was also abusing Bella. My dad had passed away, and his home was open for anybody in the family to live in until uh, the house was sold. So I went in there because they were living there, and I put up home hidden cameras. And the footage went to my computer, my cell phone, and my husband's cell phone. It was a week or so after I put those in that I caught on the home hidden camera in the living room of that home Manny physically abusing Bella. I went to my daughter with that video, and she said that she would take care of it, and I gave her a few days to do it, and she didn't. As soon as we saw that video, me and my husband moved into that home because we knew if we were there, we could protect Bella, and Manny would not be alone with her, and my daughter to get him out, she wouldn't do it. So a few days after we got the video, we set Manny down and Kiana down at the kitchen table. Cat Daddy, my husband, sat in the living room. And I said, Manny, I've got something I need to show you. And my daughter, the look on her face, because she knew what I was going to show him. And I handed him my phone with the video starting. I said, I want you to explain this to me. And he got mouthy with me, laughed about it, and he told me that this is how we treat children in Mexico. And excuse my French, but I told him, then bitch, you're going back to Mexico. I'm going to make sure of it. Get the hell out of this home and away from my daughter and away from my granddaughter, which Bella was not there. She was off with Annie's mom at the time. I did not want her exposed to that arguing. He ran to his mother's house. My daughter acted like she was going to stay in the home and keep Bella there, but that night when she went to work, she packed a few things for her and Bella, and she started staying at Manny's mom's house. I immediately, after confronting them, contacted the Oklahoma Department of Human Services and reported the abuse. And then I went and met with one of their supervisors and showed her the video. And she said that since you cannot actually see where he hits her, that they can't rule it as abuse. And I said, it's obvious he's hitting her. You can hear it. You can hear her crying. And in the state of Oklahoma, if you are threatening to hit someone, that is legally assault, or it is legally battery. And he raised his hand over her as a threat to hit her. They went and checked Bella at her daycare. She didn't have bruises on her. And so there wasn't much that they would do. But as soon as I got finished talking to that supervisor, I went to the Oklahoma City Police Department and I filed a police report and I showed him the video. And then I had been trying to turn Manny in for months to that immigration toll-free number and on their website, and they hadn't picked him up. So I called the office that's over Oklahoma City, which is Dallas, and it gave me several different choices. Press 1 for this, 2 for that, blah, blah, blah. I chose intelligence. I thought, well, that's a good one. I told the officer all about it. He wrote it up. He took it straight to the right department. They worked with authorities here, and ICE agents raided Manny's mom's house 2 weeks later and deported him and his mom's boyfriend, who was here illegally the second time. They did not deport his illegal mother because she cooperated. After that, we didn't see Bella for 5 months. Started seeing her October of last year. Started keeping her a lot while my daughter was going out partying. She had apparently become a binge drinker and was drinking and driving, and we did not want Bella mixed in any of that. And the problem was, if we had found out if we weren't watching her when she needed us to, or when she wanted to go party, she was leaving her with whoever, wherever. And we were trying to keep Bella with us a lot more at that point. did not know Kiana's plans to take Bella to Mexico until my son, it was the only one Kiana told in our family, her twin brother. He told his ex-fiance, and she called me and told me. I confronted my daughter. It was only a couple of days before they were leaving. We had winter weather in Oklahoma City. The courthouse had been shut down. There was no time to get an emergency court order to keep Kiana from leaving the state of Oklahoma with Bella. It was the hardest thing I ever did to let her go. We got to keep her the night before she was taken. My daughter let her stay the night with us. And you know what? We ate Brahms for dinner. Because if Bella wanted ice cream that night, she was getting it. We didn't know when we were going to see her again. And she got a mix, you know, a big old deal of the Brahms mix. And we got home. She didn't want that. She wanted Nana's hot fudge sundae. And you probably see the pictures in the group. She had to feed Papa Meow Daddy his banana split. And we stayed up late and we hugged and played, and I cried, and whenever I would cry I would go into our bedroom and have Papa play with her. Kiana was picking Bella up at 11 o'clock, and Cat Daddy had to work that day. He didn't get off till noon. After Bella got up that morning, she has a diary. She loved to write in it. This is her diary. And she was writing in it, and she tore out all the pages that she had wrote on. And she threw them away, except for a couple of them. And she brought it to me. And she said, actually this was after we went and saw Cat Daddy for till bye. I'll get to that in a minute. But she handed it to me, and I said, oh yeah, you did good. Because she had wrote a letter. I said, you did real good. And Nana's proud of you. And I handed it back to her. And she said, no, you. And she handed it to me, you and Papa. And she took her diary, me, and held the note, you. And I said, this is for Papa and Nana? She said, yes. I said, do you want me to give this to Papa when he gets home from work? And she said, yes. Now, he had told her goodbye on his 15-minute break at 10 a.m. I drove up there, and he got to tell her goodbye. When he got home, I gave him the note. He stood there for about 10 minutes reading this ineligible note that Bella had wrote. And his hands were shaking, and I knew then that it was going to be a long road. We got through the weekend. Monday comes. I'm trying to find the best attorney that I can, and God, I found him. I sure did. But before I did, I was driving down the road, and I said, God, I can't handle this, and you're supposed to. I've always been taught that you never give us more than we can handle. But I can't handle this. Why is this happening? Bella is in danger. And I don't know when we'll ever see her again. We've got to save her. And then I realized when God gives you more than you can handle, you ask him to take the wheel. And you give it to him. And I surrendered the situation to God. And right after that, I found the best attorney I could have ever found. We filed for guardianship. And it was a long 2 months. We went from February 24th to April 24th before we could get in front of the judge because the system was so backed up. That was the first available date we could get in. And I was awarded guardianship of Bella. And now we're searching for her. The judge and the attorney wanted me to take the court order to the Edmond Police Department because I had explained to them that I'd already been in contact with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and that Bella needed to be in the NCIC system for them to take charge and get the missing posters out, get Border Patrol alerted because they're in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, which is right there at the El Paso Juarez crossing. Apparently, you do not have to have visas or passports to cross it. My daughter and Bella did not have them. My son had just moved back from living in El Paso for a few months. When he was there, he went across and came back without a passport or visa 16 times, he said. You come back through with you don't get checked going in, you come back through, you get checked for your ID and birth certificate. No visa, no passport. That's something that needs to change. If they had to check visas and passports to get in Mexico, Bella wouldn't be there right now because she didn't have one. My daughter could have quickly pulled this off. So, we had our church praying the whole time. Wonderful, wonderful church. We thank them so much for all the prayers. We thank everybody for all the prayers that they've given on this. All the support, all the shares, all the kind words, all the phone calls. It is just absolutely amazing, the love that everybody is showing to try to help us find Bella. God works through y'all to help give us strength. And I've got my game face on, even with tears. And I promise you, I'm going to fight this until I get Bella home safely. Because when she's home, I can rest easy. But until then, I cannot. I took the court order to the Edmond Police Department, just like the judge and the attorney told me to. They said that since there was no court order when my daughter took Bella that prevented her from taking her, that no crime was committed, so they couldn't put her in the NCIC system. Well, I told them that when I walked in. I wasn't trying to put charges on my daughter at that time. I was simply asking that they take a missing persons report because I am now Bella's guardian. I have custody of her, and I don't know where she is other than Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, and Kiana Rain Wise and Jesus Manuel Acosta Sanchez are withholding her from me, which is legally considered kidnapping, and she is legally missing. If you're not going to file a kidnapping, then file a missing persons report and get her in that NCIC system so that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children can do their job. They didn't. So then I went to the Oklahoma City Police Department and had the same officer that was instrumental in taking that report that got Manny to do this report. He sent it on to the Department of Downtown Oklahoma City that handles crimes against children. They called and said that no crime was committed when she was taken. Same thing as Edmond. I'm like, I know, I'm just trying to say, she's a missing person. I need her in the NCIC system. They basically put it back on Edmond. We're about to have a court order that's going to order the Edmond Police Department or any other law enforcement agency that I asked to put her in the NCIC system to do that. That is what our case manager with National Missing and Exploited Children told me to do. I spoke to my attorney, and that is definitely in the works, and the judge will have no problem signing it. The U.S. State Department, I've got to get a POTR, which is a Mexican power of attorney, because if they require that in case for some reason I'm not able to be in a courtroom in Mexico when Mexico upholds the United States court order to turn Bella over, then I have to give power of attorney to at least one other person that could be there in my place. I also have to get everything translated in Spanish, the court order, state statute, and Bella's birth certificate. And we have to drive to Little Rock, Arkansas from Edmond, Oklahoma for me to sign the POTR. So that is all in the works. The case, excuse me if y'all hear a train, we live pretty close to tracks. The case manager assigned to it with the U.S. State Department, she said that it is a slow process, that one of the biggest things in it is you get it filed in Mexico before she's been there for a year, because then Mexico will say that the United States is her habitual residence and they will turn her over to me. So that is definitely in the works, but she said it is a slow process from the time it gets filed until it goes to court, so that could be over a year, but that's okay as long as it's filed in time. But she said because they appoint us an attorney, and it could be the day before the court date that we find out to be in court and who our attorney is. She said that if we hired our own Mexican attorney, and she gave me a list of attorneys, that this process would go a lot faster, and that's one of the things that we're asking for money on the GoFundMe. We spent our savings getting the guardianship, and just earlier this week I had to take more money down to pay for the service, and all I can say is we're going to get Bella back. I know we are. I don't know when, but God's got this. I know He does, and we're going to get Bella back. I've learned strength, trust, and faith in God that I never had before, and I praise God for that. That is a blessing. He has taught me, and He has made me grow into a person I never knew I could be before. And I always had a problem with patience, but I tell you what, God's really knocked me on the head about that one. Mexican court, or there's other avenues that can be taken. Maybe Kiana and Bella are caught in the United States. There's going to be a felony warrant on my daughter soon. At that point, we can get the FBI involved. We're going to try to get her extradited from Mexico, and she could get up to 10 years in prison in the United States. And I hate to do that to my daughter, but Kiana, if you see this, if you watch this, I want you to know I love you, but you have put Bella in a danger that she should have never been in. And I have stood up to get her safe. I have spent so many hours doing this. I can't even hardly work, even though I work at home, selling services for DirecTV and stuff. I can't even hardly do that because I'm concentrating so much on this search for Bella to get help and get the word out there and get people supporting us. And you've wasted an attorney's time, a judge's time, police department's time. And it's just growing. If you think that they're going to let you get by with wasting their time while we do our job to keep safe when it's really your job, you got another thing coming. And I love you to death, but before you left, I told you, you know what? You're an adult. Obviously, you got an adult lesson to learn, so if you're going to go down there, then you go down there and you learn it. And if that adult lesson includes getting extradited to the United States and stand trial and put in prison for up to 10 years, then so be it, because whatever God wants this to do is what's going to happen. And if you're not going to comply with what the United States law tells you to do, then you know what? Go sit in prison. Maybe it's going to take you 10 years to learn that you make sure that your child's safety is first and foremost. And that's how I feel about that. So to calm down, I am going to show y'all some things about Bella. I got them right here. This was her little hat when she was in the hospital. And I was able to get it when she was a baby, and I've kept it ever since. This was on her wee little head. I say wee little head, but she came out and she was, I think it was 8 pounds 1 ounce or 8 pounds 4 ounces. I'd have to look and make sure, but she was 9 days overdue. So she's a little big of a baby. Now, since I'm Nana's and I'm Robin, you know, Batman's our hero. And here's one of the many Batman things. I know it looks like it's for a boy, but I always buy Batman clothes for Bella for her to wear occasionally. Maybe a Batman t-shirt. She's got a Batman cape. This was a Batman pajamas, the top to the pajamas. And for Halloween last year, we got to go trick-or-treating with her and Yana, and me and Papa Meow Daddy, we dressed up in our Batman jerseys, and Papa even had, if you go through my pictures on my profile, you'll see it, Papa, and I think it's in his too, he had a Batman mask on, but for the eyes. So we were Batman and her mama was Superman, And Bella was a little fairy, and it was just so cute because she learned real quick that if that doorbell rang, they was going to answer and they was going to give her candy. So she would go right up to the front door and plant her little feet, like in the same spot at each door's front, and wait for us to ring that doorbell, and we'd have to say trick or treat, and then she'd say thank you. It was fun, and we've got pictures on I think it's mine and my husband's account, Curtis Robin Jones. These are some of the pictures that I put up in our home. This was Bella this last Christmas. It wasn't on Christmas Day, but it was right before we left to go meet Santa Claus for the first time. Bella had never sat on Santa's lap. We took her the OKC Powwow Club, having their very frequently, it's more than once a month, but I know it's at least once a month. And Taco Cell and Santa was there, and we talked about it before we went because I was afraid she's going to get scared. And I kept telling her to sit on Santa's lap and tell him what you want. Tell him you've been a good girl so he'll bring you something. I had her all excited, and boy, you can see on my Facebook page the picture. She's just sitting on Santa's lap just grinning. She was ready to get on his lap. That was Mother's Day is in a couple of days, and this is the first Mother's Day that I'm not able to see Bella. This was her and I last Mother's Day. This is a picture that my daughter had posted on Facebook since they've been down in Mexico. This was Bella on Easter. This is Papa Meow Daddy and Bella, and this is just so funny. I took a nap and Papa babysat, and you can't really see it on his face, but he had it, and so did she. Bella colored on Papa in her face while asleep, and I woke up and it was just cute as could be. And because boy, Papa just he lets her do about anything she wants to do except for color on walls. And one time he tried to take the pen away from her, and he didn't know she had one in her other hand. When he took the first one away, she threw the second one in Papa's face. She gets a little bit of a temper sometimes. But she drew on Papa's and hers face with this marker, yellow, and I just had to get a picture because it was just the cutest thing. But Bella, I guess, thought that I was taking a picture of the proof of what she had done. So as y'all can see, she's looking like, I don't think I'm very happy about this. And she's covering her face up. She don't want the evidence shown to everybody. And then this is another picture from last Christmas, right before we went and saw Santa Claus. And the way Bella's expression is, and she's just grabbing that face almost like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, because her and Papa had been watching it a lot. That's Papa's favorite Christmas show. I didn't even tell her to do that. She did that all on her own, and she just giggled about it when she saw the picture. And I'll tell y'all what, I used to tell her Papa Cat Daddy. Well, a few months ago, she decided it was Papa Meow Daddy because kitty cats go meow. And sometimes she'd call him meow and just giggle, or if she really wanted his attention about something, she'd call him Papa Cat or Papa Meow. But sometimes she'd just say meow and giggle at him because she thought it was funny. Now this is kind of heavy, but this is the last thing I want to show you. These are the toys that we have left. Bella had a large collection of Disney Barbie dolls, and I let her take them with her, and some other toys because I wanted her to remember home. And I didn't know where she was going to sleep, if it was a bed or not. And we had a My Little Pony, which is one of her favorites. Had her My Little Pony sleeping bag that we had just got her. And I sit down with her too because I didn't want her to be cold. But this is her crayons and some Legos and a Barbie that she took the clothes off of, and she didn't do that to this one. Apparently the newer Barbies come with bathing suits that are not removable. Some of her Legos, she loves the Legos, coloring books. She's got the coloring books, and she's even, because I'm Native American, she's Native American from my side, and her mama's dad's side. Got her an Indian coloring book. I found it's old. I think it's from like the 1970s. It's Sioux Indian, and I found it at a garage sale. So for a quarter, so I got that because I just thought, boy, that's something neat for Bella, because I like to teach her about her heritage. And then the last thing that I want to do before I let y'all go, and I'm sorry this is taking so long, and I know my husband's hands are got to be getting very, very, very tired, and I really appreciate so much that he's holding the camera this whole time. But you know what? I tell you what about this man, there's some things he won't even do for me, but he'll do them for Bella. And if you look at his pictures, if Bella's not in that picture, he ain't smiling. But you put Bella in that picture and you see a little bit of a grin on his face. It's just amazing they're bond. That's his baby girl, and that's her Papa Meow Daddy. Let me shut this out. Oh, it was the end of August, or end of April. And the message had been sent to me about 10 days or so before by a dear woman that's in the group, Haley Brown. There is a woman that is on fire for God, I promise you it's her. And she had sent me a picture of the inside of her devotional, which is Jesus Calling. I used to have it, and I went and got it again. The day that I found it, I needed to hear those words. Those were exactly what I needed. And I immediately went and got the devotional, and I started doing my daily devotional. And again, Cat Daddy has since joined me in doing that also. Even if I do it in the morning when he's at work, I do it again with him at night, because he wakes up at 5, has to be to work at 6, and he's got to eat and get ready and all that stuff. And so a lot of times he don't have time in the morning. But there is a May 1st in this book, just really has always spoken to me since I got it, of what it's like to go through this situation. And before I read it, I want to show you the bookmark that I have. Life is a treasure hunt. You just need to know where to look. I feel like so much that the search for Bella is a treasure hunt. We just need to know where to look. But let me read this and then we'll close. May 1st, you are on the path. Oh, where is my glasses? I think they might have fell. Hold on just a second. Oh, here they are. In the last year, Nana's has started needing reading glasses. Okay, here we go. You are on the path of my choosing. There is no randomness about your life. Here and now comprise the coordinates of your daily life. Most people let their moments slip through their fingers half-lived. They avoid the present by worrying about the future or longing for a better time and place. They forget that they are creatures who are subject to the limitations of time and space. They forget their Creator who walks with them only in the present. Every moment is alive with my glorious presence to those whose hearts are intimately connected with mine. As you give yourself more and more to a life of constant communion with me, you will find that you simply have no time for worry. Thus you are free to let my Spirit direct your steps, enabling you to walk along the path of peace. Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? Luke 12:25-26. To shine on those living in the darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. Luke 1:79. You know, it may seem like I'm worrying because of my stress. I know he's going to bring Bella home. I just don't win. the stress of this is all the work I'm having to do to make this happen. Boy, God has put a big job on me, but I thank Him for it because it's teaching me a lot of things. Patience, hope, faith in Him, and to seek Him in everything. And I'm hoping once this is all said and done that at that time I can start working to help recover other missing children and help other families that are going through what we're going through, especially when the child is taken to another country. I'll tell you what, sometimes it feels like hell on earth. And I never would have ever chosen to walk a mile in these shoes. A marathon is what it feels like, but I'm holding Jesus' hand because I called my big brother into this, and God's got this, and I'm walking with both of them until the end. I ask that everybody continue to pray for Bella. We appreciate so much everybody, all of your prayers for Bella and our family, for your shares on Facebook, for your time to call and see how I'm doing, or message and see if there's any new news, giving me different avenues of different organizations that we can get to help before we get Bella into the NCIC system, because the sooner we get more word out, the better. And even with your suggestions of, why don't you do this? Have you tried that? And one thing that really helped me through this after I started the group was a woman told me, I know what it's like. She was in the missing children's group, not Bella's. But to know that somebody knows what this is like was very comforting. And I want to close this with a prayer for Bella. If everybody would please bow your heads and come into agreement with me as we go before our Father, because in the Bible it says when two or more of us shall come together, that He hears our prayers even more. So if everybody could please bow with me. Father, we come unto you. And first I want to pray that a hedge of protection, the blood of Jesus over Bella, Father. Keep her safe. Do not let her father lay a hand on her. Do not let him speak a cross word to her. Do not let her see him doing drugs. Do not let her start drinking. Don't let anybody else harm her, Father. Just put that hedge of protection, the blood of Jesus over her, and keep her safe in a cocoon of Jesus' blood until she's safely home. And Father, continue to give me strength as I go through this. Father, open up everyone that you can to give me the suggestions of different avenues, and use them to show me the way, Father. You showed me the way and guide me so that we can bring Bella home, not in my time, but in your time, Father. And I just praise you for holding my hand. Jesus, thank you for holding my hand and helping protect me through this. And I just thank you, Father, for all of our supporters, everybody that's praying to you, everybody that's helping with the search for Bella, Father. You are showing us blessings through them, and I love it, Father, and I know that love comes from you. And we all look forward to the day that Bella is put in my arms and we know she's safe. And then, Father, we're going to have a big welcome home celebration for Bella, and all of her supporters are more than welcome and invited to be there. And Father, I want to thank you for our church family, how they've prayed with us and held us up through this time. And someone that's not on Facebook to be seeing this prayer, Father, is my Aunt Mary Jo. She's been a rock for me through this, and I just thank her so much. And I thank you, Father, for using her to help get me through. And Father, I thank you for my husband, Cat Daddy, that he has got the strength to go through this with me and give me those hugs where I hear his heart beat and it just calms me down. Father, thank you for using him for doing that. Father, thank you for giving him the strength to work a minimum of 61 hours a week
to help pay our bills financially while my income has basically gone to nothing as I search for Bella. Father, thank you that my husband understands that. He's never complained about it. And I just praise you that he's such a solid rock to keep our household financially going as we search for Bella. Father, I couldn't ask for a better husband. I thank you for that. Lord, just bless everybody that's praying this prayer and hears this prayer, and let Bella feel hugs from us tonight. Let her be comforted as she goes to sleep. And Lord, let her know everything's going to be okay, because Jesus loves the little children. And we ask all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, everybody. This is it for my first Facebook Live. I'm sorry I was long-winded. I kept you all, but now maybe everybody understands a little bit more about Bella and the search for Bella and how we got to this point. If you have any questions at all after this, feel free to ask them in the comments or private message me. And I thank you all so much. We're going to get her home, and Bella is our baby that we're getting home. We all love her, and we all want to see her home. And I just say, hurrah, go team, because now it's time that we do the Hail Mary, as they call it in football. We're going to get that baby Bella home. Thank you all, and have a good night.